Now, I think it's pretty fair to assume that most, if not all, of the footballing world not only knows about Florain Wirtz, but also rates him extremely highly as a young, talented player. And rightfully so. The 20-year-old, now almost 21 years old, but the German is arguably one of the best number 10s in all of world football at just 21 years old, and is already one of the spearheads for a Leverkusen team who not only just beat Bayern to the Bundesliga title to halt the run of 12 straight Bundesliga titles that Bayern had, while handing Bayer Leverkusen their first ever Bundesliga title. And with the season he just had and the summer now rolling around, don't be surprised when you hear price tags of around £120 million, £150 million for Wirtz being paid. But how did this once promising but very raw wonder kid turn into one of the best players in his position at just the age of 21? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, this gets thrown around for almost any and every single young player performing well. So I completely understand if you just give me an eye roll and a sigh when I say this. But I genuinely and wholeheartedly believe this when I say it. But Florain Wirtz is a generational wonder kid and is a surefire lock to be Germany's face for at least the next 10 to 15 years. And to be fair, Florain Wirtz has always been a high quality player for Leverkusen, but this season he has taken it up a couple of notches and is now arguably their best player. The season started with Florain Wirtz being given the number 10 shirt for Leverkusen after requesting it after Demabi's exit to Galatasaray. And with that, we should have known that Wirtz was serious this season. Coming off of an injury-struck campaign last season, playing just 25 games and getting 4 goals and 8 assists, missing a total of 24 games through injury last season, it was thought that if the 20-year-old just had a campaign where he could stay fit, he would be able to show just how important he is for Leverkusen. And boy, has he shown his importance and quality and some this season. Something so impressive about Wirtz is that so many young kids that go through an ACL injury the way Wirtz had to, while a lot of them never seem to be the same and eventually dwindle out of the spotlight and into football obscurity. And Wirtz, well, he has done the opposite. And in his first season back from an ACL injury, he has not only by far and away had the best season of his career, but has had a huge part in helping Bayer Leverkusen have their best season of their club's history. Guys like Martin Odegaard, Florain Wirtz, De Bruyne, and I suppose Jude Bellingham when he plays for Madrid, they have shown the footballing world that that number 10 role is far from over. If you look at Florain Wirtz's stats, they are genuinely just disgustingly good. Honestly, this season his stats are looking like a video game. Wirtz in his first season back from a career-threatening ACL injury in 44 games from the number 10 position has got 17 goals and 19 assists, and that's not including scoring a 7-second goal against France in a friendly for Germany. He is 20 years old, playing in midfield, coming back from an ACL injury, and has 17 goals and 19 assists in an unbeaten campaign for his club. I'm sorry, I don't know what world you live in, but those stats are just flat out ridiculous. It's just absurd. And when you look at Florian's advanced stats, well, he is just as ridiculous there. He is overperforming his XG in the league by 2.25 goals, overperforming his expected assists in the league by 1.53, even though that kind of shows how good his team is at finishing. But his assist tally is good enough to see him join second in the Bundesliga in assists. He has 72 chances created in the league alone, good enough to see him ranked 7th in the league for that. He ranks 8th in the league in expected assists per 90. Everything Wirtz does this season has just been absolutely outstanding. Wirtz is even an extremely strong defensive player, with his recoveries, possessions in the final third won, interceptions, blocks, duels won, and tackles all above average for a player in his position. Wirtz isn't your luxury number 10 player like Mesut Ozil was. Wirtz is a 21-year-old, fast-paced, goal-scoring, playmaking, hard-working player that has had a huge hand in delivering his club an almost unbeaten season in all competitions, by the way, with the league title wrapped up in the semi-finals of the Europa League and set to still play the Deutsche Pokal final. Now, obviously, Wirtz isn't solely responsible for Bayer Leverkusen's amazing season, far from it, But Wirtz is without a doubt a huge reason why Leverkusen have been so successful. And after the season that Wirtz has just had, I'm very confident in saying that Wirtz can walk into any team right now in world football and be a starter. Whether that means he's playing on the wing, whether that means he's playing in central midfield, whether that means he's playing at a cam role. He would be a starter in basically every single team around world football. At 21 years old is crazy. And without a doubt, tons of European giants will be making their move for Wirtz this summer. And whether he wants to go or not is a whole nother discussion. But personally, if I had to choose for Wirtz, I would like to see him stay for at least one more year at Leverkusen, keep developing under Xabi Alonso, and see what you guys can do in the Champions League before you think about a move. If Wirtz can keep improving like this, keep being the do-it-all midfielder he is, whether that's on the ball, off the ball, playmaking, scoring, whatever it is, if he can just keep developing, keep improving, well then I don't see why one day he can't be regarded as one of the best players in the world and maybe have a Ballon d'Or one day.